I teased my roommate for not believing in love. She locked the door and proved me wrong. The sound of the deadbolt clicking behind me made my smile disappear. I turned around, expecting another one of Rachel's sarcastic jokes, but instead I found her standing by the apartment door with trembling hands, tears filling her eyes, and an old wooden box pressed tightly against her chest. For the first time in the 3 years we had shared that apartment in Portland, Oregon, I realized my roommate wasn't angry because I had teased her. She was terrified of something far deeper than I had ever imagined. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances still matter in this world, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone you care about, leave a thoughtful comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue bringing heartfelt stories that remind people goodness still exists. My name is Nathan, and at 29, I believed love was simple. I had watched my parents celebrate 35 happy years together in Ohio, and I honestly thought everyone secretly wanted the same thing. Rachel, however, rolled her eyes whenever co-workers talked about engagements or anniversaries. Every Valentine's Day she volunteered for overtime. Every wedding invitation went unanswered. Every romantic movie ended with her quietly leaving the room before the credits rolled. Naturally, I joked that she simply hadn't met the right person yet. That Saturday afternoon, I laughed after seeing another dating advertisement on television. I nudged Rachel and casually told her she acted like love was a conspiracy theory. I expected one of her clever comebacks. Instead, she muted the television, walked silently to the front door, locked it, and placed the wooden box on our coffee table. The apartment suddenly felt smaller. Warm afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows, yet an invisible weight settled over the room. Rachel took a long breath before opening the lid. Inside were dozens of carefully tied letters, faded photographs, ticket stubs, and a silver pocket watch that had clearly survived decades. She gently lifted one photograph first. It showed 2 smiling teenagers, standing beside an old red pickup truck somewhere in rural Tennessee. Their eyes carried the fearless confidence only young people possess when they believe tomorrow is guaranteed. Rachel explained that the boy was her older brother, Caleb. As children, they had grown up believing family meant everything. Caleb dreamed of becoming an architect, while helping raise Rachel after their mother passed away. When he met a young woman named Grace during college, everyone believed they would spend the rest of their lives together. Then, everything changed. Grace's father lost his business, forcing the family to relocate across the country almost overnight. In those days, before social media connected everyone instantly, addresses changed, phone numbers disappeared, and handwritten letters sometimes never reached their destination. Caleb wrote constantly. Grace wrote back, but neither realized someone close to them was quietly intercepting those letters. Rachel's aunt believed Caleb needed to stay home to care for family responsibilities, instead of chasing romance thousands of miles away. Thinking she was protecting everyone, she hid every letter inside that very wooden box. For nearly 4 years, both young people believed they had been abandoned by the other. Caleb eventually stopped smiling. Grace eventually married someone else. Neither ever discovered the truth while Caleb was alive. Rachel's voice cracked as she admitted she found the hidden letters only after her aunt confessed everything shortly before moving into assisted living. By then, Caleb had already passed away from an unexpected illness, carrying the belief that the love of his life had simply forgotten him. Rachel carefully unfolded one yellowed letter that Caleb never received. Grace had written that she loved him every single day, that she had waited by the mailbox for months, and that she prayed he would somehow find her. Rachel looked directly at me with eyes full of heartbreak rather than anger. She admitted she didn't stop believing in love. She stopped believing life always gave love a fair chance. Her greatest fear wasn't rejection. It was timing, misunderstanding, silence, the possibility that 2 people could spend their entire lives loving one another while circumstances kept them apart. Hearing those words felt like someone had quietly rearranged every certainty I carried inside me. I realized how easily I had judged someone whose pain had never been visible. That evening, we spent hours reading the letters together, Some described ordinary days. Others spoke about dreams of tiny houses with front porches, Sunday church services, family dinners, and children who would someday laugh in the backyard. Every page carried hope that never reached its destination. Over the following months, Rachel made an unexpected decision. Instead of hiding the story forever, she contacted Grace, now a retired elementary school teacher living in North Carolina. Grace agreed to meet. When they finally sat together, neither woman blamed the past. They simply cried, laughed over old photographs, and honored the man who had loved deeply until his final days. Grace asked Rachel for copies of every letter. Rachel gave her the entire box instead. Watching my roommate release something she had carried for years changed me more than any relationship advice ever could. Love wasn't only measured by happy endings. Sometimes it was measured by the courage to forgive people who never meant to cause pain, by preserving someone's memory with dignity, and by choosing hope instead of bitterness after unimaginable loss. Months later, Rachel surprised everyone by volunteering at a community center where she helped seniors write letters to distant relatives and reconnect with family members they hadn't spoken to in years. She couldn't rewrite her brother's story, but she could help prevent someone else's from ending the same way. If this story has touched your heart so far, please consider liking this video, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who still believes healing is possible. Stories like this remind us that compassion often begins with simply listening before judging. Before we reach the end, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment telling us about someone whose kindness, forgiveness, or love changed your life. Your words may encourage another viewer who needs hope today. Whenever I see handwritten letters now, I no longer think of old paper or fading ink. I think of Rachel, of Caleb, of Grace, and of a locked apartment door that opened something inside my own heart. I had teased my roommate for not believing in love, but the truth was far more beautiful than I ever imagined. She believed in love so completely that losing it without goodbye had nearly broken her. Yet instead of allowing that heartbreak to define the rest of her life, she chose forgiveness, compassion, and hope. And in doing so, she proved that the strongest love isn't always the one that lasts forever. It is the one that teaches others how to love more deeply, even after unimaginable loss.